This is my first time doing this thing, so let's see. I'm not going to have time later this week, so I figure I'd knock it out right now. We're going to talk about Mr. Ramaswamy here. So first off, you could go. I listened to some of this. You guys could go listen to his high school speech. He sounded like an intellectual dude from the rip. So I mean, if they really wanted to plant him, dog, they had to go a long time back. Now, all these tabs, we'll just go through them one by one. And I just kind of want to, the fact that we're having to explain this just shows how much of a freaking distrust we have. Just overall in our world today, right? If somebody comes along and they're saying stuff that we want to hear, and we're like, oh shit, is this person for the people, or is he a plant? It's just like we right away we go to that, right? And then you just get dumb people just sharing shit. And look, I'm not saying everybody sharing shit is dumb. You have a right to be skeptical, and of course, you should do your own homework. So, I just did mine, and you guys can kind of see how I research a little bit too. Yeah, just a lot of bullshit, right? So I still got a quote I'm working on here, so I have to leave that up. But we'll just go by. If you look right here from like left to right, I might skip around a little bit because I had to open these up. I started on my iPhone and said, well, let's just do it this way because it's hard for me to just talk about it without you guys actually seeing it. So with that all being said, this is his we can start off here. I think I already got this. Like, how did Vivek get his Vivek? I don't know how to say his name exactly. I know it's Ramaswamy. How did he make his $900 million fortune? And essentially it was a pharmaceutical company. He well, I don't know exactly where it's at. Let me find it real quick. His claim to fame. How did Vivek get his wealth? He owns 10% stake in this company, and essentially it got launched by he ended up, he went to Yale. He did all the right things in life, man. And he essentially, I'm trying to find the exact thing. I should have been better. So founded by him in 2014. They got the rights to Alzheimer's medication and used that as a centerpiece for its subsidiaries. The drug shows positive results in clinical trials and allowed Rivian to take whatever this company is public in 2015. The IPO raised $360 million, and the New York Post reported. Today, just want to put it out there. What are they working on? You got to understand the way chemical stocks, the way these medicine stocks, pharmaceutical stocks, they got to go through these stages, right? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And along the way, you're going to get a lot of people starting to pour in if the drug seems promising, right? So like right now, they're working on this. This is one of the treatments they're working on, right? And what the hell is this? I'm not a doctor. And I'll show you what it is. It's a skin disease that could cause a rash with itchy, scratchy patches, most commonly on knees, elbows, and trunk and skull. So basically some scratchy ass shit. That's what they're working on, right? And this is Mayo Clinic's very respected, and their stock is going after that and a couple of other things, and they're in the development stage of it, right? And as things, if they go as projected, they're going to make a shit ton of money, and rightfully so. If they're providing something of value to our society, they have a right to make money. Not just they, but Vic does. Everyone does. Anyone that wants to invest in this is not, anyone else could jump in on this, right? So basically, that's how he made his money. This is where it is, and no, it's not crazy. I mean, you could do it. You just have to be a nerd and spend hours and hours and hours of research, or really be into this. And if you go to Yale, if you do the right things in life, you're going to get the right connections. You know what I mean? I uprooted my whole life and I left, Fresno, and I came over to Dallas because I want to make connections. I'm connecting with people here and I'm trying to grow my network. If I went to Yale and I said, hey, I'm raising money, I don't think I'd have a problem. There's Luol Deng. Any of you guys that follow basketball at all, he went to school with Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO of Chase. Luol Deng went to school with his daughter. And because of that, that he got access to Jamie, and Jamie hooked him up with some loans and stuff like that. And now him and Derrick Rose are killing it in Chicago. So life isn't just always about, oh, this person's got a hookup. No, you got to work your ass off to get in a position to present yourself, to be able to create an opportunity for yourself. This guy did all the right things in life. And the first thing we're fucking saying about him is like, oh, he's an industry plant. He's this, he's that. We'll get to the BlackRock stuff. We'll get to the investors and all that. And I'll also explain that. And I'll explain why he cashed out $20 million is because if you're paying for a presidential campaign, it costs money. And you can't just pull money out of the fucking thin air, So he's still keeping a majority of his stake, but he sold some of his position to go and try to run for office. And, the biggest shareholder is this guy from this company called QVT Financial LP. And if you look at who Homeboy is, this is what he's going to look like. Hold on one second. It'll pop up his picture. Daniel A. Gold is one of the biggest investors in Vic's company. Now, does this guy look like he's going to take over the world? No, this guy just looks like he works his ass off. He just fucking knows how to read shit, and he's just making smart decisions. And he has a fund, and he believes in the drug that they're developing. So he's like, yo, fuck, I'm going to put some money behind this bitch, because if they could solve one of these problems, they're going to make a shit ton of money. And so it's like, no, that's not a conspiracy. And then if you look at like how much BlackRock owns, this is a site that I use for a lot of like information. It's just loaded with information, right? It's Fintel. And if we go down here and you could, well, I mean, my screen's in the way, but you could visit this yourself. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not blocking anything out, right? You could see who's coming in, who's coming out, who's selling, and why. And there's a million reasons why people are going to be buying and selling and for any type of market. But where's the institutional ownership that I want to show? So yeah, we come down BlackRock. BlackRock does have 12 million shares, and they've been invested since June 29th of 2023. Now these dates, that's reported. That was the last reported. So that means like up to that date when that quarter ended out, it shows who are the biggest partners and whatever. And you still have Morgan Stanley. You have like, Patient Square Capital, a bunch of these guys, right? Like, and you also have to remember, BlackRock owns a little bit of anything. And for the people that don't understand what BlackRock is and how it works, this is the thing that really frustrates me. There's a great documentary on it, and they do have a large control over the world, because what happens is they developed a program called Aladdin, and Aladdin is, I know it's funny, but it's the truth. And at the very end of the video, I'll show you guys on YouTube the documentary. I always forget the name, but it's fucking such a good documentary. Anyways, what BlackRock does is it goes to pension funds and it goes to everybody, and it takes their capital and it uses that Aladdin, system, their code, their whatever, and it lets them invest, right? So essentially, Larry Fink is at the very top. He's the CEO of BlackRock, right? And you have everybody pouring in money because they know how to manage money well, because it's all computerized, right? And this is Adam Curtis. He's the one that explains the whole fucking thing about how it started. This guy, Fink, he is a G. I mean, we might not agree with what he says and what he does, but he lost a shit ton of money and he vowed he'll never fucking lose it again. So he was one of the first ones to do this machine learning shit for stocks. And now they get all the money vested in them because they know what to do with it. They know where to put it. And BlackRock owns 1.6% of Vic's company. 1.6% is not going to influence the world. But where does BlackRock have influence is all the money that they have, $10 trillion under asset, they have seats on every single goddamn company, right? So they are going to have a say of what you say, what you do. Of course they will. They are the ones with the money. And if you don't play with what they want to play with, they could say, hey, we're gonna make it very hard for you to raise capital. But as you can see, they're not the only ones. There's a shit ton of people invested, right? There's a shit ton of people invested here. So when people see this and they say, oh, he's the industry plant, it's like, no, you freaking idiot. BlackRock, what's 139 or 12 million shares to him at $10? That's nothing to him. It's 120 million bucks. Don't throw that at. That's just like, hey, if they're, the way they think about it is they're investing in every single industry. They see Vic's company coming up. If they're like, hey, if this guy is late stage clinical trials and this shit pops off, we're going to be able to turn our little, where it went, our investment of whatever this is into double or triple it. That's how they make money. It's not like, oh my God, BlackRock owns Vic. It's like, dude, just do your own goddamn research before you freaking just spew out a bunch of bullshit, right? Because it's worth $8 billion. I love using Yahoo Finance because, you know, I grew up with Yahoo Finance. I just have a little soft spot for it. But, you know, the overall market cap is $8 billion. And they own less than one. BlackRock owns 1% of this, 1 point whatever percent it is. So no, they don't fucking control Vic, dude. It's just, it's crazy, dude. And you know, same thing here. You could look at institutional ownership more in detail. Click how many shares they own. If they're selling, they're adding. What are they doing, right? And then we'll go into it. You know, there's a whole Rutgers report here that shows, like, you know, who he was. He's born in Ohio, and it's like, if you look, the fact that you're watching this means that you were skeptical. And if you're not going to believe, you're not going to believe. Or if you don't think that someone is actually legit or whatever, it doesn't matter what the hell I say, or even if I present you with the facts, you're not going to believe it. And it's crazy I'm saying that, because that's exactly why at the end with the whole BlackRock thing, well, I'm going to go over that Curtis Samuel documentary, and I highly encourage you, Labor Day weekend's coming up, to watch it, because it is very eye-opening, because I can present you with the facts and you are so disoriented from society. You're like so removed and detached. You've been lied to so much that even if I present the truth to you, you're probably going to be like, nah. Homeboy's a plant. I can't do nothing for you, dog. So, you know, he you know, went to a Catholic high school. He earned his biology degree at Harvard University before moving to Yale. Dude, this motherfucker did everything right. He did everything right, bro, to get into a school like Harvard and get a fucking biology degree and then go study, you know, at Yale Law. Of course he was going to be a billionaire. The motherfucker was bright. And you're trying to say that he's an industry plant? That's so disrespectful, because you're saying that someone's not smart enough and capable enough, not giving enough of themselves to say, I want to do more in my life, that it had to be because of an industry plant. Or it could be this gentleman here worked his ass off. He went to Harvard on his own merit, did whatever the fuck he had to do to get in there, to get ahead, made good connections, got into Yale, made even better connections, and said, hey, I'm fucking here. I graduated with high degrees. I did all this shit. And then you see a bunch of smart people, right? Other smart people, people that got money, that say, hey, this motherfucker is actually pretty smart, and he kind of probably knows what he's doing. I'll take a bet on him. And then before you know it, he's a billionaire. And then he says, you know what? Let me go help out our society. I want to make America better. I came from nothing. My parents came from nothing, and I was able to do this. Let me preserve this and protect this for the future kids of America. This is, if you work your ass off, you can get here. And yet we get hit with the fucking, either BlackRock, either that's all BlackRock. And the motherfuckers don't even know what BlackRock is. They don't even know what ETFing is. They don't even fucking know the basic principles of how the market works. How, for example, if he got hit with a bunch of stock options, his stock blew up, and now they're coming up to expiration, and he's forced to sell stock because he has a tax liability coming up. He has to sell then. Or maybe he wants to fund his own, you know, campaign. So he has to sell. Or maybe he's worked his ass off. All of his money is in the stock. He wants to sell a chunk of it to go live life, like buy a house, because you can't just buy stuff without actually selling stuff. You know, that's not how the world works, right? And it just frustrates me, bro. It frustrates me, the fact that I even have to make this fucking video, because it's like, people are so goddamn lazy. They won't even do the research themselves. I'm not saying you, like, if you actually trust me to do it and whatever, I'm just saying, like, all the shit that I'm seeing from other people, what I should really say is they're just trying to get clout off of you guys, right? What they're trying to do is, you're busy as shit. You might not have time to research, but someone just throws some shit in front of you that says, oh, he's a fucking industry plant. And then they use some bullshit like this that shows that, oh, he's in, oh, I fucking fucked up the, whatever, like, oh, so-and-so is invested here. And it's like, dude, that's not how finance works, bro. None of these guys give a fuck. Only thing they care about is making money, just like I do, just like anyone else that's in markets does, right? And, you know, if you guys want, I could even link these, but you see the articles right here. I don't really trust Forbes, Fox, you know, whatever. Okay, here's one of the things. It says, Ramsey was already a millionaire when he accepted Searles' award, and he said he needed to pay for law school. And then it goes into, well, I don't want to fucking hear him talk right here, and I hope it lets me go down. But this article right here, well, I'll skip forward. It's not coming up right now, but when I read it, it explained, yeah, he did use the system. He definitely used the system. He took money from Soros when he could have made it work. He could have took out a different loan or whatever, but he's like, yo, fuck it. I fit into this zone. I'm going to take the opportunity given to me, and I'm going to go with it. And if you're going to hate the guy for that, then you're going to hate the guy for that, because guess what? Ain't nobody fucking perfect. I'm not perfect at all. There's been shit in my life that if you dig hard enough and deep enough, you're going to be like, yeah, damn, dude, Parm's a piece of shit. And I guarantee you give me 7 days access to everything that you have, I will probably find some shit that you did that's sketchy that you're probably not proud of, or you're like, yeah, you know what, I probably should have did this or that. But he was given an opportunity to get a scholarship. He followed all the rules. He didn't lie on the application. It got presented, and he took his chance. And if you're going to hate him for that and say he's a George Soros plant, then like I said, I could give you all the facts, but it doesn't fucking matter. You're not going to believe anything about anything. You're going to have your own opinion, and you're reluctant to change. I mean, there's nothing I could do for you there, man. And once again, yeah, he sold $32 million of his stock, but it also goes on to say that he's keeping more than a 10% plus stake. So he sold what he needed to sell, laid off 12% of his workforce. Yeah, of course, the economy is slumping, but he cashed out on the $33 million or that he sold out. He probably needed to pay taxes and then use the rest of the money to actually fund his own campaign. And people are going to look at this however the hell they're going to look at this. But if you literally go and you do your own research, I'm sure you'll come to the same conclusion of, yeah, maybe he did take Soros' money, but that's it. It's not like he's Soros' bitch. Soros' fund isn't invested into it. And even BlackRock owns less than 1% of it. And they're not going to change the world. Guess what? BlackRock is also invested in everything else that is making money or has a potential to make money. And I'll end it up by saying, let's see if we could find it. If we type in Adam Curtis, there we go, documentary. And yeah, here it is. All of these, I don't know why Hitler came up there, but this is the one that you guys need to watch right here. And it is long. It is 2 hours and 46 minutes, but it's hyper normalization. And that's what I'm saying is like, and this explains BlackRock, it explains Larry Fink, it explains kind of like which way the direction of the world that is going. And I feel like it's already here, man. I feel like it's already here because the fact that we can't decipher our own information and come to our own conclusions. And even when we're presented with facts that, say one thing or another, we're like, no. We want to just go to our bias. And I think that shit needs to change. And maybe this isn't entertaining to you at all. And I'm sorry if I'm talking to you in a way where I do not mean to call you, the viewer that's watching an idiot, because you obviously care enough to watch, to say, hey, okay, what do I have to say? What's the research I present? It just really fucking frustrates me when people are online and they're just saying, crazy shit all the time without doing any type of research. And hey, I've posted stuff too that's not like 100% accurate or whatever, but you don't see me going ham as fuck after one thing and doing zero research to it. And if you do, shoot me a DM and be like, yo, man, like I've been following you for a minute, but I think you're wrong on this. You should look into it, XYZ. And if, I actually do, I will say, hey, I fucked up, guys, my bad. Because I'm not looking to be like perfect. That's not the fucking idea here. The idea here is to grow together. And because of this page, I've had so many people, we have so many conversations. I've learned about so much shit. I'm getting exactly what I want out of it. And, I'm shooting this on, Wednesday or Tuesday night at almost 12:30, at night, because I actually fucking enjoy it. Right. But it still grinds my gears because sometimes it's bigger than this page. It's bigger than just me and you or whoever's watching. It's like our whole country is being fought for right now. And we have to decide which direction we're going to go in. And I know it might seem silly, like, oh, this country is being fought, whatever. No, it is. What happens in 2024 is going to matter to me and you. It is going to matter to our future kids. It's important. It's important that we cut some time out of our day, of our week, and pay attention to what's going on. And it's also important, you don't just listen to me, listen to a lot of people, get a counter view. We need an educated population. We need a population that's going to be able to think and decipher and say, that's BS or this and that. I don't want everyone to just be like, this is the right answer. This is the way, right? Like there needs to be a back and forth. But I guess I'm fucking tired of like the blatant lying and the manipulation constantly, bro. And it's on both sides too. It's not just like a Republican thing or a Democratic thing. It's like they just want to push their narrative. And I guess it's always been this way. But eventually, it's up to us to wake up. It's us to do the work and get to the truth. Get to the truth, man. Listen, I know I rushed through this stuff, but just real quick, like I said, I'll go through these articles. These are easy. This is just on NASDAQ.com and Yahoo Finance. You can literally type in, here's the ticker, for ROIV is the ticker. And you could literally go on Reuters and find this. When you Google it, how did he make his money? What's going on? And then even ask the George Soros question. He'll give a response if you care. I mean, it's all out there, like who's trading, who's in, who's out. And from my research, what I've done here, and I'm sorry I kind of sped through this stuff, but I couldn't find anything that I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a plant. It's like he's just doing business. And I think he's trying his absolute best. Do I think he's going to become president? No, probably not. And just recently he said that he wouldn't be Trump's VP. So it's like, we'll see where it goes, man. We'll see where really this thing goes, but give the guy a real chance, man. And if he starts fucking up or he says stuff we don't like, it is what it is. And for me, it's like, no one's going to be perfect. There's no politician that you're going to look to and be like, I agree with everything this guy says. No, there's a lot of shit that I don't agree with Trump. I don't like the way he just spews shit out. I wish he would, and it's not just because, I don't want to see, it's just because there's just a way you have to handle yourself to conduct business to get things done. And if you come off as a dick all the time, no one's going to want to work with you. And if no one's going to want to work with you, what can you get done? And if we elected you to get shit done for us, and it's not through your own fault, like it is your own fault because you're not politicking a little bit to get shit done, then what are we doing here? Right. And for me, that's the thing. And there's not going to be a single person. I mean, even there's things about every single person in your life that you like and you dislike. And if you're really going to hang yourself up on one little thing, then you're never going to, you're not being realistic with yourself, man. There's going to be things that you like and do not like about a candidate, which you need to really focus on. And I'm saying what you should focus on. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're smart enough to figure out what you want to do. But what we should focus on is, okay, this person's in front of us. Is this person going to hit majority and fight for the majority of the things that I agree with? Like these are the things that are most important to me. Are these things being pushed forward? And if they're not, which candidate is, I'll take the baggage as well. I don't know, man. I'll end it on that. I don't have a timer on this. So I don't know how long I went. Look, man, I hope this was informative. Like I said, I sped through everything, but I think I hit the highlights of everything, and I'll recap, he sold stock. He got into this company because he went to Harvard. He went to Yale, Harvard, for medicine, and then Yale to become a freaking lawyer, started his fund, built it on the back of Alzheimer's, used that as leverage for something else, got for another drug company, went public. Now they're developing some rash shit. I don't know enough about pharmaceuticals. I don't claim to do. And because of this, they're getting into a later stage trials. You got investors coming in, and his blemish is that he took Soros' money for a scholarship, but that scholarship was meant for immigrants. And just because he had already started something, went to Yale later, it shouldn't disqualify him. And if that's the one thing you're going to hate him on for, then you're going to hate him on that for. Or you're going to hate him for that. There's nothing I can say or do about that. But it's all out there, and you can more than welcome to do the research yourself. But until I see some crazy ass shit that's like, oh man, this guy really is an industry plan or he's something crazy, I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt, just like I would with any other politicians, until you start seeing stuff that you're like, yeah, I really don't agree with this. Right. I don't know, man. That's all I really have to say. Yeah, like and share, I guess. I mean, if you fuck with it. And I do appreciate you guys watching it. And I don't know, man, my bad. I didn't mean to call you guys dumb or anything like that. I hope you guys didn't take it that way. That's not what I meant. I'm just a little bit frustrated. If you made it this far, man, you're a fucking real one. I really appreciate you. Subscribe to the Instagram, and I'll give you access to the Discord. And I'll see you guys on the next one, man. I enjoyed making it. Sorry I was a little bit hot, but it just boils my blood. But seriously, check this. Take some time and check out hyper normalization. And think it'll make a lot more things make sense. All right. Good night.